right hand level. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay. Morgan, why were you in Lab 2A on March 14th?
Well, I was finishing up a lab assignment for chemistry. The assignment was pretty simple, and I've done parts of the experiment in the past few years.
Describe your experience with chemistry.
Chemistry is a natural hobby of mine. It just so comes naturally to me, and that's why I decided to become a chemistry minor in college.
What does this chemistry minor that you talk about mean to you?
It means I have to take classes in it in order to graduate, and I can't take classes if the building is burned down.
Okay. What happened in the lab during the experiments?
Well, I worked with Tracy most of the time, and I let her borrow my textbook. We had this conversation about all my weird neighbors and this guy who wanted to be a professional wrestler. And then Jesse came over after he was done. He tried to join our conversation. We soon finished thereafter, and then we left together.
When you left the room, did anyone leave a hot plate there?
Yeah, I noticed that Jesse left his hot plate there, and he was also the last one to leave.
Why did you go back into the building after you exited?
Well, I needed to go to the bathroom really badly. We were in the lab for like 4 hours.
Did you see anyone else in the building when you re-entered?
Yeah, I met Tracy in the bathroom, and we continued our discussion about that professional wrestler dude. She was still in there when I left.
Did you go back to Lab 2A when you re-entered?
No, I went straight back to Jesse.
What did you do after you went back to Jesse?
We walked to the parking lot together, and we had this nice conversation, but then suddenly, I realized I have so much homework to do, so I excused myself and headed home.
Did you know that Professor Bode and Professor Vetter were married?
No, I had no clue. I guess not something you just publish around.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness with evidence marked Exhibit H?
Yes, please do.
Let the record reflect that I'm giving the witness what has previously been marked as Exhibit H for identification purposes. Do you recognize this?
Yeah, it's the email my dad sent me after I told him about that grade in creative writing.
When did you receive this email?
Around noon before heading to the lab.
And what were your thoughts after this email?
I realized that this one grade in creative writing wasn't going to destroy my life. I mean, I was still upset at Professor Bode for his grade, but I realized that I had a successful future in front of me, and, I mean, my parents were going to hold it against me either.
Thank you. That's all.
The prosecution wish to cross-examine.
Prosecution. Alright. So, did you arrive at Butterworth Hall at 5:20 p.m.?
Yeah.
Is it true that you're working Lab 2A?
Yes.
And is it true that according to your witness statement you are very knowledgeable about chemistry?
Yes.
And have you done this lab any time before?
Yeah, I've done chemistry before.
So with your prior knowledge, would you know what temperature the fire starts at?
Well, I mean, the common perception is that it starts at Fahrenheit 451 degrees, but that's
So,
actually not true.
Okay, but if it's not true, then would you say that you know what actual temperature it starts at?
I can't think of it on the top of my head, but I know it's a common myth that it's 451.
Okay. And you say in your witness statement that you're only in the bathroom for about 3 minutes after scanning it.
It was a rough estimate.
Rough estimate, but it's close to 3 minutes, right?
Well, I mean, time flies when you're talking.
When you're having fun
Yeah.
in the bathroom.
Hey, that's private.
In your witness statement, you say that you met Tracy Wayans in the bathroom after re-entering the building, and you left that before she did.
Yeah.
Correct. And are you aware that Chris Martelloni, Chief of Fire, has reported a figure walking the Lab 2A at 7:29?
Yeah.
And, 7:29, yeah. Okay. And you do claim to have been in the bathroom for about 3 minutes, is that right? About 3 minutes, is that right?
Rough estimate.
So after entering the building at about 7:24 p.m., would you say that 3 minutes later it'd be about 7:27 p.m.?
I don't know the exact numbers.
But,
Yeah, sure.
but right, okay.
I said it was probably 3
And
minutes.
the activity log does not record you exiting until 7:35 p.m., is that correct?
What activity log?
The activity log.
What?
I'd like to present Exhibit I in evidence. So can you read
What is this?
the activity log to Anderson?
No.
Well, this is
I'm a
the,
student. I only just scan in. I don't
well,
actually.
this is the activity log to Butterworth Hall.
I don't recognize it.
Scan in, you scan
Sorry.
in. Okay, but can you read?
Can I use evidence that I don't recognize?
Yes. Can you read this line?
7:35 Morgan McGrath.
Morgan McGrath.
Exit.
Exit. Okay, so that means you exited at 7:35 p.m.
Yeah.
Correct.
I told you, time flies.
Alright. So then after entering the bathroom about 7:23 p.m., you are aware that Chris Martoni had reported a figure walking in at 7:29 p.m.
Yeah.
So after exiting the bathroom at 7:27 p.m., you said 3 minutes after leaving the bathroom until 7:35 p.m.
I said it was 3 minutes the whole time. I didn't say like after.
That is true, but you said 3 minutes in the bathroom. According to your witness statement.
I said from when I got in and left, not
Okay.
in the bathroom.
So then
I don't know what.
you got it in left. Okay.
And again, I said probably. So it's not. I didn't have a watch and like time how long I was in the bathroom.
That is true, but you still said 3 minutes you got in the bathroom.
It's an estimate. I don't
Okay.
know.
So then, after the 3 minutes in the bathroom, 7:27 p.m. until 7:35 p.m., there's an 8-minute gap where your presence is unknown. within the
If you're
building.
going by my exact 3 minutes, yes.
Yes.
But again, it's a
So
figure
then,
of speech.
after this 8-minute gap where your presence is unknown, how can, and then Chris Martoni has established at 7:29 p.m. a figure was walking to the bathroom. Who else in the building, according to our activity log, was in the building at 7:29 p.m.?
30 seconds.
I think Tracy was, right?
And then, you've already testified that Tracy was in the bathroom after you had left, is that true?
Yeah.
So then, that leaves 2 people in the building, one's in the bathroom, and the others who's present within the building is unknown, is that correct?
I mean, I've heard problems with the scanner log too, so I think, people could have not scanned in after 6 o'clock, right?
10.
Prosecution's open.
That's big. Okay, when you left the room after you were done with the experiments, the 3 of you left.
Yeah.
And was there anyone that left a hot plate there?
Yeah, Jesse.
Okay. Why did you re-enter the building after leaving?
I need to go to the bathroom.
Okay, is there any reason for you to burn down the building?
No, I take classes in it. I do minor in chemistry.
And did you know that there was a connection between Professor Bode, who gave you the B-, and Professor Vetter?
No, the police told me that after they arrested me.
Okay, that is all. Thank you.
Let me step down. Does the defense have any other witnesses?
We'd like to call all defense witnesses. Morgan McGrath.
Put your right hand in the air. Tell the truth. Go.
On this side, on a pre-cal.
Of what relation are you to Morgan McGrath?
I am his father.
What do you and your wife do for a living?
I am a federal judge on the New Temple Circuit Court of Appeals, and my wife is a virologist.
And as a judge, what do you strive to do?
Well, in the court, I strive to uphold truth and justice as also in everyday life.
Can you describe your son and how you raised him?
Well, my son is a wonderful young man. I encouraged him in all his pursuits. I raised him into utmost respect of the law, as I am a judge, you know. And I never pushed any expectations on him or forced anything on him. We just encouraged him to do what he wanted to.
Could you tell me what happened on March 11, 2001?
Oh, that was the night that Morgan left a message on our phone about the grid from Professor Bode.
What did you do then?
Oh, I was busy with the case, Bushman versus Gorey, so I couldn't reply to him until 2 days later.
How did you reply?
Oh, well, I talked to him, on my email I told him that he shouldn't worry and that we're still very proud of him, and he replied with thanks, and after that I knew the matter was resolved.
What happened the night of the fire?
Well, Morgan called me and seemed worried that they might suspect him, and yeah, that's...
What did you say?
Well, I told him if he had nothing to do with the fire, he shouldn't be worried. And then I asked him right then and there, did you have anything to do with the fire? And he denied it flatly. And then, since it was the chemistry building that burned down, I asked him if he knew that Professor Vetter was married to Professor Bode. And he seemed very surprised at this, and he said no. He didn't know at all.
Not at all.
Defense, regard the prosecution likes to cross-examine.
There's not a lot of battery.
Okay. So, are you the father of Mr. Morgan McGrath?
Yes.
And would you say that Morgan McGrath is very creative, very imaginative?
No.
You say he's not. Okay, so in your affidavit, you've also said that Morgan does not like being not athletically gifted, is that correct?
Yes.
So would it be fair to say that Morgan doesn't like not being good at something?
I suppose.
Were you aware of Morgan's limited creativity and writing before she entered this college writing class?
Yes.
And then would you be aware that if he did not perform well in this class, he would have a negative reaction?
I suppose if you don't do well, you don't like it.
Yeah. And then, is it true that Morgan informed you about the accident, but you did not respond until several days later? Is that correct?
Accident? What accident?
Fire. It is an accident.
No, he called me and I responded right then and there. I think you're thinking about the grade. That's when I didn't respond.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. About the grade, was it true that you didn't respond several days until
I responded 2 days later. I was busy with the
That's
case.
true. So then, being a judge, would you say that you're very busy during a big case?
Yes, I'm very busy.
So would you aware that with the demanding nature of his university, along with your lack of touch, that you may not have contacted Morgan, and you might not have known Morgan as well later on?
I've raised him 20 years.
All right.
He wouldn't change that much.
Disregard that question. So if Morgan didn't have, even if you say your son did commit this crime, would you still love your son?
Oh, that's a question that's very hard since I am a judge, but I also am a father. So I have to say I still would love him, but I can't say that I would respect him anymore.
So with any incident that might have been against the law, would you say that you would still love him as a father?
I would still love him as a father, but I would lose all respect for him as a person.
As a person. So then, would you say that even if he did commit this crime, you would still believe what he said?
No,
Why not?
because I am a judge and I strive to uphold truth and justice.
So, if he... Okay. Proceed to the questions.
Yeah, I left that going since the last one, though. So.
I want to read this.
What has Morgan told you regarding the relationship between Professor Bode and Vedder?
He was completely surprised that they were married. He didn't know at all. I asked him and he said no.
So you guys talk on the phone after the fire?
Yes, he called me and I responded. He asked, he just seemed worried they suspected him, and I just told him if he didn't do it, he shouldn't worry at all.
That's all.
Can you step down? Okay, I'd like to give the prosecution and defense a brief recess and prepare their closing remarks so the jury can talk amongst themselves about anything but the case.